Okay, guys, same like yesterday. Yesterday was all about health and safety at workplace, but now today is some kind of fire safety quiz competition. So three rounds. Each round have five questions, and I'll share one picture, then the question with multiple options or maybe true false, and let's see who can give the right answers, mashallah. Because yesterday it was a great competition and you guys were amazing, but today I'm expecting the same. And let's see, inshallah. So starting with the round, look at the picture first. Know your fire extinguisher color code like water, dry powder, and different others. The question is, all extinguishers are good for all fires. $100 question, true or false? All extinguishers are good for all fires. Like Mr. Isa, you mentioned A, and absolutely right, because according to the class of fire, the extinguisher, we have to decide accordingly, rather than claiming that all the fire extinguishers can be used for all type of fires. So all extinguishers are good for all fires. You truly have to think little bit technically, like can we use water for all type of fires? Like even the fire is because of electricity, or the fire is because of some metals, or maybe a cooking oil. Take an example, can we use water or So I hope you got the point. So all type of extinguishers can't be feasible for all types of fires actually. So the answer is, like Mr. Ali mentioned, B. So B is the right answer. Excellent. Now look at the picture. Look at the fire extinguisher. The question is, fire extinguishers should be. Fire extinguishers should be. Option A is serviced at least every 3 years. Option B is located as required by local regulations or fire hazard identification. Option C is used to hold doors open, or option D is checked frequently for good operation by weighing the extinguisher. So fire extinguishers should be. So what is your answer, Marshall? Okay, so Mr. Ali, you'll go with D. Fire extinguishers should be serviced at least every 3 years, located as required by local regulations or by fire hazard identification, or used to hold doors open, or checked frequently for good operation by weighing the extinguisher. So $200 question is there, and we got one answer is D. Any other opinion, please? $200 question. So take your time, but make sure you have technically, logically the sound answer, not the doubtful one. Okay, so Mr. Issa, you'll go with B, mashallah. Okay. Any other opinion, please? Any other opinion, please? Yes, Mr. Ryan, this is the question. The fire extinguisher should be serviced at least every 3 years, located as required by the local regulations or by fire hazard identification, used to hold doors open or check frequently for good operation by weighing the extinguisher. Mr. Ali, he mentioned option D is the right answer, and Mr. Issa, he mentioned B is the right answer. So what is your answer, Mr. Rayan, and all others, please? Okay, so Mr. Rayan, you will also go with B. Okay, guys, B is the right answer. The reason is the fire extinguishers, first of all, have to be located as per local regulations. And this is not the location what you have observed in the picture. So even, the first thing in Saudi Arabia for us is respectable to respect Saudi regulations, the local government regulations, like civil defense laws or any laws coming from Saudi Aramco or coming from even Royal Commission, or even some level from our client side, or even we are following OSHA regulations or some other regulations as per international standards. So located as required by local regulations. So B is the right option, mashallah. Excellent. So question number three, $300 question is there. The question is, fire extinguishers should be checked visually monthly by checking. Fire extinguishers should be checked visually monthly by checking. The extinguishers are located and stored correctly and installed according to the local law. Pressure gauge where fitted needle is in the green zone. No damage, leak, rust, and pin is in the place. All of the above. $300 question number three. Okay, so you all will go with D, and D is the right answer, mashallah. Brilliant. Excellent. So $500 question number four. Look at the picture first. Yes, let me repeat again. Don't expect that everything we're gonna get from negotiating. That is why they created open book exam to make us more researcher, or our browsing hobby should be more solid. So that means we have to be the passionate self learner actually. They are just facilitating. So that is why I'm adding such kind of presentations for our practical understanding how day to day basis, area wise, we are resolving safety issues. Now look at the picture. Question number four, $500 question is there. Round one is going on. Fire hoses should be checked for operation regularly, kept neatly rolled up ready for a fire, used for hosing down the factory floor, or both A and B. Yes, please. So you'll go with D, Mr. Isa and Mr. Ali. Okay, so D is the right answer, Masha. The last question of round number one, look at the picture. The question is, fire alarms are checked for operation regularly, indicated by signage and color, installed in accordance with local regulations and must be in high risk areas, all of the above. $1,000 question number 5. Fire alarms are. Okay. So you'll go with D. And D is the right answer, Misha. Brilliant. Excellent, mashallah. So round 2 is going to be started. Now we are talking about emergency training against fire. Basic emergency action planning should be in place. What should this not cover? Basic emergency action planning should be in place. What should this not cover? Emergency shutdown procedures, shift roster like coverage for illness, primary, secondary exit routes, assembly areas. Basic emergency action planning should be in place. What should this not cover? What is your answer? Okay, so Mr. Isa and Mr. Isa, Mr. Ali and Mr. Isa, you'll go with B, and Mr. Khalid, you'll go with C. Okay, any other opinion, please? Because we have difference of opinion here. Basic emergency action planning should be in place. What should this not cover? Can we miss emergency shutdown procedures? Of course not. What about shift roster coverage for illness? Like if any employee is absent or sick and in replacement we have someone else, kind of a job rotation. And C, can we miss primary, secondary exit routes from our action planning? Like we have fire evacuation map plan or even business evacuation map plan, or emergency evacuation in other words. So can we miss primary, secondary exit routes? Or can we miss the D, like no need to highlight assembly areas? So the logic says A, C and D, we can't miss actually. What we can miss is the shift roster coverage for illness. So B is the right answer. Question number 7, $4,000 question is there. Look at the picture like heat, fuel, and oxygen. So chemical reactions, the fire will be there. And if you want to fight with fire, we have to remove one element, or we have to break this chain, break this triangle. The question is, fire prevention processes do not include. Option A is burning of rubbish, good housekeeping, storage and handling of combustible materials, hot work permits like welding and brazing. Fire prevention processes do not include. What is your right option, guys? Question number 7, $4,000 question is there. $4,000 question is there. Question number 7. Fire prevention, fire protection, fire fighting. So here he is talking about fire prevention processes. Do not include what? So out of 4 options, 1 option is irrelevant. Or is not part of fire prevention processes. Okay, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Ali, you'll go with A, and Mr. Khalid, you'll go with B, good housekeeping. So, Mr. Khalid, if you are going with B, is there any logic or technical reason behind, or what do you think? Like, because prevention means we are creating a system which can help us to prevent from fire actually. So, avoidance of fire incidents. And do you think we can ignore good housekeeping, or it shouldn't be part of our fire prevention processes? Because poor housekeeping is one of the terrible reasons of
Yes.
fire incidents even.
What I understand from the fire prevention process is in the middle of the incident itself. This is my understanding of the question. But if it is as a procedure, maybe I will go with A. Yes, same as Ryan. The burning of rubbish.
So basically, for fire prevention processes, we can't ignore good housekeeping. We can't ignore storage and handling of combustible materials in a safe manner, and hot work permits like welding, brazing, cutting, or abrasive blasting, or several other processes. But burning of rubbish is kind of our own choice, and we will definitely, we can't make that option as of our fire prevention processes, because that is through third party we are doing willingly in a very safe manner. So it's already there. So all other 3 points must be part of our fire prevention processes to be well considered. So the right answer is A. $4,000 question was there. Excellent, mashallah. Now $8,000 question number 8. Look at the picture first. The question is, how often should fire evacuation practice be carried out for each shift to cover all employees? How often fire evacuation, like you have fire evacuation map, but how many times you do fire evacuation drill? So because practice makes a man perfect, right? So that is the question. How often should fire evacuation practice be carried out for each shift to cover all employees? Every month, once a year, twice a year, once a year, or as required by the local regulations. $8,000 question number 8 and round 2. Okay, like Mr. Isa, you'll go with A every month. Okay, any other opinion, please? Mr. Ali, you'll also go with A. Anyone else, please? Ms. Ryan, you'll also go with A, right? Okay. I hope you remember I mentioned the first thing is to comply with the local regulations. And if we are performing much better than the local regulations, because the local regulations are giving us the minimum requirements of safety, right? But like the local regulation is saying, the fire evacuation drill must be done, let's take an example, once, at least once in a year. But our choice, our internal best practice is we conduct fire evacuation even every week or every month or quarterly or biannual. Otherwise, at least annually. But after 1 year, if you don't conduct, that means it's kind of a violation of your procedures or even to the law. So as a company, we are bound to follow, first of all, local laws. So the option D would be the right one. But yes, the logic says every month is more productive but that is your choice, that is your best practice, which is no doubt appreciable. But on the other side, as per the nature of the question, once a year or as required by the local regulations. If a local regulation says it must be done every month, you have to do every month. But if local regulations is say once in a year and you are performing every month, that means you are a role model, mashallah. You're leading by example that you are doing much better than the local regulations even. So in that scenario, the D is the right option according to the nature of the question. But yes, the logic says A is the right answer. So I'll still okay with that. No worries, because mostly I get the answer A. Now, question number 9, $16,000 question is there. Look at the picture. On the job, specific health and safety training is required for all workers. When? Within 3 months of starting a new job, prior to starting a new job, or except temporary migrant workers, or none of the above. On the job, specific health and safety training is required for all workers. $16,000 and second last question of the round 2. What is your answer? Okay, so Mr. Ryan, you'll go with B. Yes, any other opinion, please? $16,000 question number 9. So, Mr. Ryan, you gave the answer prior to starting a job. That means option B. Any other opinion, please? Option A is within 3 months of starting a new job, prior to starting a new job, except temporary and migrant workers. None of the above. Okay, so Ms. Risa, you'll go with A, within 3 months of starting a new job. Mr. Mishari, you'll go with B, prior to starting a new job. Prior to starting a new job, this is looks more logical because once the job started by an untrained person, the probability of accident will go up. So yes, option B is the right one, mashallah. Question number 10, the last question of round 2, $32,000 question is there. Look at the picture. The question is, if you see fire or smoke, what should you do? If you see fire or smoke, what should you do? The option A is panic and run out of the building as fast as you can. Option B is remain calm, alert warden, personally call fire services, leave the building, wait in front of the fire truck. Option C is remain calm, rescue anyone. If it is safe to do so, raise the alarm, close doors and windows, extinguish the fire with extinguishers or hoses. Option D is remain calm and follow your business evacuation plan. Assemble in the designated assembly area. So what is your answer, guys? Question number 10, $32,000 question is there. If you see fire or smoke, what should you do? And this question is not for the firefighters, not for the fire warden. This question is for all the common employees, you know. Okay, so Mr. Mishari, Mr. Ryan, you'll go with option D. Any other opinion, please? Any other opinion? If you see fire or smoke, what should you do? Panic and run out, remain calm or alert warden, or remain calm and rescue anyone, or remain calm and follow your business evacuation plan. Like Ms. Risa, you'll go with option C. So remain calm, rescue anyone. If it is safe to do so, raise the alarm, close doors and windows, extinguish the fire with extinguishers or hoses. Ms. Risa, yes, your answer is right. In one context, if it is asked, to the fire wardens, firefighters, or rescue team members, or the fire marshals, in other words, but this question belongs to the common employees. They are not trained as a firefighter. They're not trained how to rescue, like as a rescue person, they're not trained for. They don't know how to use fire extinguisher or how to close doors and windows, and they don't know the procedure actually. Only one thing is quite familiar to them: how to follow business evacuation map and go to the muster point or assembly point. So option D is the right answer, guys. Remain calm and follow your business evacuation plan. Assemble in the designated assembly area. So 2 rounds are finished. Excellent, mashallah. So the last round, the round 3, I'm expecting some good answers again. So fire risk. The first step to preventing a fire is a fire risk assessment. Anything we want to improve or any process we even want to make safer or optimize, the first thing is the assessment or kind of risk assessment. So fire risk assessment is a source to prevent from fire incidents. So fire risk assessment should be carried out as part of your emergency planning. So step 1 is identifying the fire hazard, which are sources of ignition. Like we have sources of fuel, sources of ignition, So option A is naked flame, cigarette matches, pilot lights, gas oil heaters, or even gas welding cookers. Option B is kind of friction. Examples: drive belts, worn bearings or sparks, static electricity, metal impact, grinding, electrical contact switches. Hot surfaces could be heaters, engines, boilers, machinery or lighting, electrical equipment, hot work, welding, grinding and flame cutting, or all of the above. The question is, which are sources of ignition? That is the first step to identify the fire hazard. And when we perform fire risk assessment, our focus should be to find out the sources of ignition from where the heat can come out and oxygen is already there. And if nearby we have fuel, more chances of fire if chemical reaction went through the process unit. Okay, so Mr. Ryan, you'll go with option D. Okay, any other opinion, please? $64,000, question number 11. Mr. Ryan already gave the answer D. Any other opinion, please? Any other opinion? Fire risk assessment should be carried out as part of your emergency planning. Step 1 is identifying the fire hazard, which are sources of ignition. Like the sources of fire, in other words, from where more chances of fire or kind of heat we can get. And these are the options, like naked flames, friction, and hot surfaces. And examples are also given. The D option is all of the above. Yes, please. $64,000 question is there. So basically, technically, logically, we can straightforwardly observe that all are sources of ignition. So Mr. Ryan, your answer is right, mashallah. D is the right answer. Now the next question is sources of fuel. With some examples, like anything that burns or liquid solvents, petrol or white spirit, methyl spirit, even paraffins or thinners or paints or varnish. Solids could be textile, wood, paper, etc. and all of the above. He's talking about which are sources of fuel, because we are doing fire risk assessment. So step one is identifying the fire hazard. So which are sources of fuel? Anything that burns or liquids or solids or all of the above. Because the fire triangle required fuel, heat or kind of ignition source and oxygen. Then of course chemical reaction possibility could be there and fire can break out. So what is your answer? $125,000 question number 12. Fire risk assessment, step one, identifying the fire hazard, which are sources of fuel. Previous question was sources of ignition. And now the question is sources of fuel. Sources of fuel. Mr. M, just for better clarity, fuel does not mean something in liquid or something in gas shape. Fuel means anything which can be catch fire, or anything that can burn actually is kind of fuel. Like in our office, our table, if it is in a wooden table, is a fuel. If it's a chair or leather chair, again it's a fuel. So anything combustible actually. It's not like only relevant to the liquids. So I hope now you can go back and reconsider your answer, please. Which are sources of fuel? Okay, guys, any opinion, please? Which are sources of fuel? Fire risk assessment. Anything that burns. There could be liquids like petrol and some others. Solids could be textile or wood or paper, or all of the above. Which are sources of fuel? And let me be more clear again, the fuel does not mean something in liquid on. Fuel means anything which can catch fire or which can be burned because of fire. So anything that burns actually. Just in the other option, this splitted in liquids and solids also. And also gave one more option, all of the above. Now, what is your answer? Yes, Mr. Isa, Mr. Mishari, Mr. Ryan, already you gave option B. Mr. Ali, please. Mr. Khalid, Mr. Badr, please, your opinion. $125,000, question number 12. Okay. Okay, so Mr. Khalid, you'll go with B. Mr. Isa, you'll go with A. So guys, actually, it's all of the above because the sources of fuel is not like only the liquid, even the solids, anything which can burn. Even though A is covering the option B and C, but because we have a D also there, that means all of the above. So without any doubt, we can go with D. So D is the right answer. But even A and D look similar because anything that burns, it could be solid, it could be liquid. So basically, option D was giving just to make that question a little bit tricky. So option D was the right answer. But anyhow, the question number 13, $250,000 question. Look at the picture. Fire risk assessment, step 2 is identifying the people, and step 3 is evaluate the risk. Which are correct? Evaluating the risk by reduce the possibility of ignition or minimize the potential fuel load in the premises, assist people to escape. Or people at risk are based on the spread of fire, number of people, how warnings are given, how escape can happen. Both A and B, or identifying people is carried out by the fire warden, then they will evaluate if they can extinguish the fire or call the fire service. So, fire risk assessment, step 2, identifying the people. So number 1, identifying the peoples. Step 3 is evaluate the risk. So which are correct? A, B, C or D? $250,000 question number 30. The last round is going on. And everyone's opinion is respected, Like Mr. Isa, you mentioned C, both A and B, okay? Because they asked about the people to identify and evaluation. And A is mentioning evaluation and B is mentioning people. So that is why you selected C. Okay, any other opinion, please? Okay, Mr. Isa, we'll go with your answer. C is the right one because option A is mentioning the evaluation of risk and option B is mentioning the people at risk need to be identified. So C is the right answer. Second last question, $0.5 million, question number 40. Use of fire and flame is called hot work. In a factory, this would be from any work carried out in the workplace or room temperature is 38 or welding, cutting or brazing using open flames or source of heat that could ignite material in an area, or both A and B, or any electrical power release that can damage and maybe cause electrocution. $0.5 million, question number 14. use of fire or flame is called hot work. So what is the definition of hot work? That is the question, by the way. $0.5 million. Use of fire or flame is called hot work. In a factory, this would be from so Mr. N, you'll go with C. Yes, please. Any other opinion? What is the definition of hot work? More simple. Or examples of hot work, in other words. Yes, please. Use of fire or flame is called hot work. In a factory, this would be from, out of 4 options, from where we gonna get fire or flame? Fire or flame, because that is called hot work also. Do you think option A is right? Or option B is more technically, logically sound? Or option C is both A and B? Or option D is another consideration, like any electrical power leads that are damaged and may cause electrocution? From where are we gonna get fire or flame? And we consider it as a hot work. And look at the picture also. What is your answer, please? So any work carried out in the workplace when the room temperature is over 38. Yes, Mr. Isa, your answer is right, mashallah. We'll go with B. Welding, cutting or brazing or using open flames or sorts of heat that could ignite material. So B is the right answer. The last question, $1 million question number 50. What is required for hot work permits like welding, brazing, and grinding? So understand the question. What is required for hot work permits? Option A is anyone can issue a hot work permit, including the person who is carrying out the hot work. Hot work can proceed as long as the area is inspected, 60-90 minutes after completion of hot work, or issued by an authorized person, assessment of the area, including removal of flammable materials, available firefighting equipment, watches to monitor and inspection post work, or all of the above. So logically, your answer must be correct, and it's a $1 million question. Okay, so Mr. Khalid, you'll go with option C. Any other opinion, please? So, Mr. Isa, you'll go with D. Anyone can issue a hot work permit? No. It doesn't look logical, right? We need somebody fully competent and authorized. So let me give 1 million to Mr. Khalid. C is the right answer, Masha. Okay, guys, thank you very much. So nice of you for your great time, focus, and energy, and to participate into this competition. And no doubt, it's a great result, mashallah. And to be very honest, Mr. Khalid, this knowledge, hopefully, a time will come. You will be earning a lot of millions, not only 1 million, inshallah. But still, you can share your account number. Maybe a day will come, I would have no problem to share 1 million. Otherwise, this knowledge is more than 1 million, inshallah. One of my Saudi friend or student, he mentioned, sir, if I'll get $1 million, to be very honest, you will not see me in Saudi Arabia. So I mentioned him, that is why you're not getting it. So pure your intention and love your country, and then Allah will bless you with a lot of millions, not only 1 million. Okay, guys, go for your break and we'll catch you back at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much. So nice of you.
Thank